Welcome back to the Cricket Corner podcast as we review the second day of this third test match between India and Australia, coming to you from the Holkar Stadium in Indore. Well, yet again, another brilliant day of test match cricket between these two sides, which had absolutely everything in it. Like absolutely everything. It was like in India we call it a paisa vasool. It's worth your money. What a brilliant day of test match cricket. It had everything. It had absolutely everything. It had everything from gritty batting to some outstanding bowling to some amazing fielding and catches. However, at the end of it all, it's Australia who are well on top and need just 76 runs to win the third test match here at Indore. This is in all thanks to Mr. Lyon, who picked up 8 wickets to rattle India yet again in the second innings. But I hear you, listeners and viewers saying, but hang on, Watsal, wasn't it Australia's first innings that started the second day's play? And to that I'll tell you, yes, it was, but it was more of a bowling day rather than a batting day overall. And Australia winded up their first innings. India finished their second innings. And at the beginning of the third day, we will have Australia coming out to bat, needing just 76 runs to win. Sorry. So let's just review this exciting and enthralling days of test match cricket and see where the third day is going to take us here at Indore. So let's get started. The day started at 9:30 a.m. Indian time, 4 a.m. UK time, and Australia came out to bat with Peter Handscomb and Cameron Green at the wicket with the score of 156 for 4. So the overnight lead for Australia was just 47 runs, but Peter Handscomb, Cameron Green looked great in the early stages of the first session here on day 2. Peter Handscomb was blocking deliveries, Cameron Green was getting those singles and doubles out. Both of them were looking really settled on the pitch, and even though their strike rate and the run rate wasn't anything fancy, but going at around 2.5 runs per over, trying to negotiate the spin, getting that odd single, getting that odd boundary outside through the covers or through the outside edges. But Peter Handscomb and Cameron Green looked good. But as soon as Peter Handscomb was dismissed, Australia fell like a wind takes down a pack of cards or a castle made of cards. It just collapsed. And how often have we seen Australian batting just collapse within just one session? Like we saw it in the second session in the first test match at Nagpur, where they were bundled out for 91. In the second test match in New Delhi, we saw them leading the second day at 61 for 1, but when they come up to bat in the first session on day 3, they're bundled out for less than after adding just another 50 odd runs and losing 9 wickets in the process. Now similar sort of thing happened yet again, because Australia lost their remaining 6 wickets in a matter of just a few overs, because the partnership between Handscomb and Green took Australia to 186, where Peter Handscomb was dismissed by Ravichandran Ashwin. It was a great catch by Shreyas Iyer, who was standing at silly point, inside edge, and Shreyas Iyer making no mistake. So that was Peter Handscomb dismissed at the end of the 71st over, with the score being 186 for 5. And Australia, once Peter Handscomb was dismissed, Australia could only manage a further 11 runs. That's it, just 11 runs, and then lost the remaining 5 wickets. So 186 was when Peter Handscomb was dismissed. Cameron Green was dismissed 2 runs later. 4 runs later, it was Mitchell Starc. Another 4 runs were added, and then the Australians lost their wicketkeeper Alex Carey. And another 1 run were added. Another run was added, Todd Murphy got out, and within the next couple of balls, it was Nathan Lyon who was done. So 11 runs for the loss of 5 wickets. And this is This collapse towards the end was largely down to just one man, and that was Umesh Yadav. Umesh Yadav, I tell you, has just bowled 5 overs in this test match. He replaced Mohammad Shami, and despite replacing one of the strike bowlers and the opening bowlers for India, he just bowled 5 overs because India opened their bowling with Ashwin and Jadeja when Australians came out to bat during their first innings. So Umesh Yadav was given just 5 overs out of the 76.3 overs India bowled in its entirety. And in these 5 overs, Umesh Yadav conceded 12 runs and picked up 3 wickets. He picked up Mitchell Starc, Todd Murphy, and the all-important wicket of Cameron Green. Amazing showcase of reverse swing bowling. Picking up Alex Carey. I beg your pardon. Picking up Cameron Green, LBW, caught in front and knocking both Mitchell Starc and Todd Murphy out with some amazing bowling around the wicket to the left-handers and cleaning them up. The dismissal was pretty similar to how Mohammad Shami picked up David Warner in the Nagpur test in the opening stages of the first test match, coming round the wicket, bowling in slightly, bowling it just at the length, pitching it on length, and just the ball nipping slightly in and taking off the legs, the left-handers off stump and the right-handers leg stump, depending how you look at things. But that's how he got those 2 wickets, and Australia were bundled out for 197 runs. And at the end of 197 runs, which were quite handy, but yet again the collapse was pretty evident because, like I said in yesterday's podcast, Australia don't have a lower order that bats deep compared to how India does with the likes of Akshar Patel as Ravichandran Ashwin. Because once Carey is out, you have Starc, Lyon, Murphy and Kuhnemann, who are, let's be honest, to the best of their abilities, they are not the best of the batsmen. But that was quite inevitable that once India got either Handscomb or Cameron Green, the tail would just collapse, and that's how it happened. So 197 on the board, and in reply, India came out to bat, but they couldn't handle the Australian spinners, and in particular Nathan Lyon. Because let me just have a look, because at the end Australia were bundled out for 197 runs, and that innings break meant that India came out to bat even before the lunch break on day 2. And India, let me just have a look at how well India did, because when Australia came out to bat, they were 56 for 4, and they were then dismissed by 197. So Australia picked up a lead of 88 runs, which in the context of things looks like a mammoth lead because the pitch was deteriorating at an alarming rate, and an 88-run lead meant India had to bat really well to first chase down those 88 runs and then start to take a lead. But they only managed to take a lead of 75 runs because India were bundled out for 163, and it was all down to Mr. Nathan Lyon. Nathan Lyon, outstanding figures. Here, just listen to these figures, right? 23.3 overs, 1 maiden, 8 for 64. Yes, 8 for 64. I think this is the second time in his career that he's picked up 8 wickets. I don't think these are his best figures. I think it's 8 for 50. I think that came against India as well. I am not quite sure. I think it was Bangalore, wasn't it? During the last Border Gavaskar Trophy in India. But yeah, 8 for 64. The only batsman he was not able to pick were Virat Kohli and Shreyas Iyer. Virat Kohli was dismissed by Matthew Kuhnemann once again, and Shreyas Iyer was dismissed by Mitchell Starc. So apart from those two, rest 8 wickets were all taken by Nathan Lyon. He started the proceedings by taking Shubman Gill's wicket. He was knocked over trying to come down the track and hitting one over long on, or long off, I beg your pardon, for a maximum, but was cleaned up on 5 runs. Then he took the wicket of Rohit Sharma, who was trapped in front. Then he takes the wicket of Ravindra Jadeja, who was yet again trapped in front. So at the time of Jadeja's dismissal, Australia were 78 for 4, still 10 runs behind, and already had lost 4 wickets. But then there were signs of some sort of recovery because Shreyas Iyer came out to bat after Ravindra Jadeja's dismissal, and he scored a quick fire 26 of 27 deliveries, an innings that had 3 fours and 2 sixes, but another special catch from Usman Khwaja at deep mid wicket. I think brilliant diving effort of Mitchell Starc dismissed him. The only reason why India were able to post a total of 163 was mainly down to Cheteshwar Pujara, playing in his 101st Test match. He scored 59 of 142 deliveries. He even managed to score a 6, by the way, of Nathan Lyon. But yeah, Cheteshwar Pujara, 142 balls faced, scoring 59 runs. But yet again, it was another brilliant piece of fielding this time from skipper Steve Smith. Steve Smith was standing at leg slip and took a blinder of a catch. One hand, his body was taking away from the ball. He just stuck his right hand, and the ball he just caught the ball. The ball just stuck in his right hand, and that's how he dismissed. That's how Nathan Lyon dismissed Cheteshwar Pujara. Another blinder of a catch was then taken by Cameron Green at the boundary because Umesh Yadav, on his very second delivery, he swung the ball for a 6, but was caught by arguably the tallest player on the pitch, and Cameron Green was making no mistake on the boundary line. So 3 great catches to dismiss the 3 most dangerous players, because Cheteshwar Pujara was settled, and a brilliant catch from Steve Smith took his wicket. Shreyas Iyer could have been dangerous if he would have continued his counter-attacking style, but he was dismissed by yet another brilliant diving effort from Usman Khwaja. And Umesh Yadav is very much capable of thonking the ball around, hit 2 sixes in the first innings, but another trying to do the same, but trying to replicate the same, but Cameron Green just takes his catch at the boundary. 163 all out, 8 for 64, and Australia would yet again feel they have won the day despite losing 5 wickets for 11 runs in their first innings, because they managed to bowl India out yet again within one day. They did it on day 1, they did it again on day 2, and now they require just 76 runs to win. I think Australia would come out fresh. They haven't batted for a single ball yet. I think the final wicket fell a couple of minutes before the end of day's play. It was Mohammad Siraj who was cleaned up by Nathan Lyon, who picked up his 8th and final wicket. And I think they didn't have enough time to come out and give Australia a couple of overs. But that's that. Australia will come out tomorrow with Travis Head and Usman Khwaja. They can take their time to settle in, because we will not have the pressure of run rate or overs remaining or stuff like that. But the only pressure they have will be that of Indian spinners looking to get early wickets. Early wickets from India, get the likes of Khwaja, Labuschagne, Smith, get to the middle order, get to the likes of Cameron Green, Alex Carey, and you never know what's going to happen, because we have seen time and time again that Australian batting, once a couple of wickets down, they are always surrounded by a fear that they might just collapse. India need to exploit that. Yes, 76 looks like a very chaseable target, but you never know with these Indian bowlers. They would be they would be looking to get early wickets. The tails would be up, and the pitch, the fielders would be surrounding the pitch. There will be a couple of slips, silly point, short legs. They'll be cheering their bowlers on. They would try to create a hostile atmosphere around the Australian batting unit, and you never know what happens. But theoretically, on paper, Australia, even though let's assume they lose a couple of early wickets, should be capable of chasing down 76. It is solely based on how well they batted in the first innings. Khwaja getting 60, Manas Labuschagne getting 31, Steve Smith 26, Peter Handscomb 19, Cameron Green 21. So even scores like these would take them to, even the scores half of these would take them to the desired target of 76. Let's say Khwaja just scores 30, Labuschagne goes 15. There's 45 runs for you. So yeah, on paper, it should be an easy victory for Australia, but you never know because Indian spinners are capable of producing the magic. That was day 2 summed up by me. Let's just have a quick recap. Australia came out to bat with 156 for 4, but then they were bundled out for 197 because they lost their final 5 wickets in the span of just 11 runs, took a lead of 88 runs, and India could only manage 163, taking a lead of 75, which means when Australia come out to bat on day 3, they will require 76 runs to win. Hats off to Nathan Lyon. He was my player of the day. Like I gave player of the day. I think, did I give it to Kuhneman yesterday? Kuhneman picked up 5 yesterday. Nathan Lyon going 3 better and picking up 8 for 64. He was brilliant. If Australia win this, I think Nathan Lyon will be the player of the match because he picked up 8 wickets in India's second innings. He picked up 3 in the first innings. So he's already picked up 11 wickets in this test match. Brilliant performance. It was absolutely magnificent to see Nathan Lyon bowling his heart out and showing why he is one of the best spinners of his generation. Will Australia be able to chase down 76? Well, they should. Realistically, they should. But I'm seeing a lot of comments from Australian fans and Indian supporters that they might struggle. I think Australia just being skeptical because they have a chance of making a comeback into this series, which no one expected them to do after what had happened in the first 2 test matches. So, yeah, as I have mentioned it a million times now, 76 to win. It would be a great watch seeing Jadeja, Ashwin and Akshar Patel bowl the bulk of the overs and trying to restrict Australia to somewhere in the region of 65 runs. That's the review done for the second day's play. Yet again, a test match will be over even before the end of third test match, but that's how third day is played. But that's how things happen in India. Let's see what tomorrow lines up. If I had to predict something, I'd go for an Australian win, but by like 7 wickets. By like 3 wickets. I think they will lose 5 to 6 wickets, but let's see how the thing unfolds tomorrow. That's the review of the second day done. Hoping for a miracle tomorrow from the Indian bowlers. But if you are an Aussie fan, then you are going to have a great night's sleep. That's me signing off. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you guys tomorrow. And let's hope we can call an excellent days of action tomorrow as well. Despite being a slow and low target, let's hope it's a close game. Thanks for tuning in. Ciao for now.